I'm Yuri Gore, and I might have done something just a little bit silly. You see, AliExpress is a site known for cheap, low quality items. It's kind of like eBay or Amazon, except Chinese and low quality. Although eBay's only second hand, right? No. No, they have actual sites there. And let's be real, Amazon is not the pinnacle of high quality. Anyway, point is, I saw a few models of guitars by quite notable brands that were about a tenth of the price on there. Now, most people would think this is just a scam and would just not buy it. But I don't run from danger. So I had a look and figured, well, what's a guitar that I won't want to spend more money on in the future to upgrade to a better model of the same guitar if this is actually okay? Okay, assuming it's not awful. Maybe it's incredible. And the obvious suggestion was one of those filthy, disgusting, headless, fanned, fretted, weird body-shaped guitars. And these things go for a lot. So I bought one, and let's check it out. Now, before we go any further, I will say that this guitar was not marketed as a company that already existed and they were reselling just at a cheaper price. They do have their own name and stuff, but it is very clearly trying to be that kind of guitar from that company, but only costing $250 Australian. How good could it possibly be? If it even arrives at all, really. So I waited, and I waited, and waited, and waited just a little more. And finally, I received this. How's that for a transition? I even changed clothes. Maybe my hair's a little different. So we're gonna open it up, and I'm very excited. Power is out right now because they're doing a bunch of construction, so you might also hear noise. But I am keen. Let's go. So, we've played around with it a little bit. It feels real good. Okay. Talking body construction feel-wise, it is a bit heavier than Steinberg guitars, which is clearly what it's pretending to be. But I like that personally. When I played my friend Steinberg, it was Stamper. I don't know, whatever. It was too light. Sorry, it didn't feel like there was anything in my hands. This is a bit heavier, which is nice, but it's not heavy. You know, it's like not like it's weighing me down or anything. I will say the action is absolutely atrocious. You probably can't see it too well there. I'm hoping it's just a simple matter of adjusting the truss rod will fix it. I assume it would be, but I don't know. And obviously I'll need to take these out. But to get the plastic off here, I need to actually unscrew it. And there's a few things I want to do first with power. I will also say that this, like, you can't really see in there, I don't think. There's a little gap at the top there. So it hasn't, like, this is clearly straight, not curved, this piece of metal. And so it's not, like, fitting in perfectly. Which is basically just a little bit of a cheap corners cutting thing where they kind of just were like, oh, we'll just put it on there. Which, again, for a guitar that was $350 Australian, exactly what you expect. This is, honestly, though, incredible. I don't know what yet it sounds like, as I have not been able to have power in my house right now. But it's pretty good. The fan frets are a bit weird. I might write a little song with it and see. So now that I've had it for some time, I've actually played with it and stuff. I've actually tested things out. What are my actual thoughts on it? Well, first off, it does not feel like a $250 guitar. It feels like $1,600 to $1,800 guitar. The build quality is really nice. It feels like a guitar, not a chunk of wood. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but if you play an instrument, you know what I mean. You know, it feels like a real instrument. The neck is really nice, both this backside here where your thumb goes and the fretboard feels high quality. It is a bolt-on neck, which is great for if you want to make modifications. Maybe I will replace this so I don't have to have fan frets. More on that later. The trade-off about bolt-on is that the sustain is worse. Apparently, I've never experienced this in my entire life, and I don't really know anyone who actually has personally. It just seems like a lie that we spread around. It does make sense, though, that one solid piece of wood would be better than, you know, two, but never really noticed it, and on this guitar, it still has no effect. The frets do feel quite nice. They are like jumbo frets, which is kind of an expectation for metal. Maybe if you're like from jazz or something, you might want a thinner kind of frets, but I mean, who is getting this guitar and not playing metal on it? Like, it's a 7-string. Oh, but actually, there's lots of jazz that would use the 7th string to try and play lower to get that extended range. Yeah, okay, whatever, bro. Shut up. Again, it is a little bit heavier than the Stamberg. Oh, I can't pronounce it, man. I'm just gonna give it a different one every time. But I personally kind of like that. I'd probably get used to it, granted, but I don't really have a need for it. But with that said, this isn't necessarily a heavy guitar. It's just not a light guitar, which I guess that is one of the selling factors for the headless guitars, is they're lighter. But like, I mean, most of the guitar weight doesn't come from the headstock. It comes from the body. So like, I don't know what... I guess it does cut off weight, but it's like, you know, I don't know. And like, yeah, a heavier guitar is annoying. Maybe like after a long show, it hurts your shoulder a little bit or something. But like, also a heavier guitar gets a nicer guitar tone. I mean, maybe not always, but in every case that I've ever come across, yes, absolutely. So I would always make that trade-off. Slightly heavier for greater sound. You know, if it's unplayable, that's different. But like... But as for the headless guitar look, I still think it looks dumb as hell. I think it looks so stupid. But as a guitar collector, I mean, come on, we need something stupid in our collections. Now, whilst I did give praise to the frets earlier, that is on their design and their like the size and the dexterity and durity or whatever. They're good quality. This has reinforced my opinion on fan-fretted or multi-scale or whatever you want to call it guitars. They're dumb. They suck. They do not make it... They make it so much harder to play because now instead of having to do this kind of stretch, now I got to do that kind of stretch. I mean, well, I guess I would have to do like this stretch. Now I got to do that stretch. It just is harder. Under no circumstances does that make it easier to have to reach further as you go. Not to mention, they're also just like a little bit out of tune too. So, what? And that's not just on this guitar, by the way. I have played many fan-fretted guitars in guitar stores, and every single time they're just a little bit out of tune. Maybe it's more specific for non-European equal temperament. Yeah, but that's what we all listen to, so why, like, what? On more positive notes, the rest of the hardware is really solid. The nut feels good, all of this, the tuning, locking, and all that is really nice. The tuners hold frets. The tuners hold tune very well. It does not go out of tune, which was something I was quite concerned about. So as far as like the make goes, yeah, it's fine. There's nothing to complain about at all. Now, the pickups are okay. Just okay. The bridge pickup is actually kind of good. It gets that really like genty sound from it. The neck pickup is just like a worse version of that. And it's already just okay. So it's like, yeah, that's probably where it falls short. Now, this isn't something to really hold against the instrument so much because most guitars that you get, if you're really serious about it, you probably will replace the pickups. Or you'll just pay extra to have the whatever specific pickups in there on the purchase. You know how they have this model and then this model with the EMGs. Like, you know. So, you know, it's not really anything to like praise it for or anything, but it is just worth noting that if this is going to be your serious main guitar, you're going to want to, just guaranteed going to want to replace these pickups because they're kind of ass. They do the job, but they're not great. Now, the bridge, again, is very solid, and the bridge design, I don't think it's specific to this, by the way. I'm sure many guitars have the same design, but it makes it very, very handy to doing your setup because when you want to unstring, you don't have to wind out here like a normal guitar and take it off and then pull it out. You just lower the tuning and it just pops right out, just falls out. And then you can adjust, take the parts out and adjust everything, put it back on, just put the string in, tune it up, you're good to see how it is. So it made it so much easier and so much quicker to actually get set up done. That's more just if you're buying this guitar and you're curious. It's not a good or a bad thing, really. Setup isn't something you need to do all the time, and yeah, it's nothing special, but worth noting, because you absolutely are going to have to set it up when you get it. Now, whilst there is a lot to praise this guitar for, even for a $250 guitar, it is worth noting that there is a lack of attention to detail here. And that bridge that I just praised it for is also part of demonstrates that very well. It is way too high. It needs to be sanded down. And I mean, yes, sanded down. I have adjusted the action on these little things here, the action basically as far as it can go to the lowest point. And when it's at the lowest point, it's not bad. I would actually like it the tiniest bit lower, but it's not bad. However, you can't actually have them at the very lowest point because the string needs, from where the string starts and where the bridge part is that anchors it there needs to be tension behind the anchor for the string to go, I'll do a diagram, for the string to go across. And when there's no tension there, when this thing is completely flat, then it just rattles and it doesn't quite hold in, and then the pitch will be obscured too, because instead of getting from this point, you're getting from the point back here. So for all those reasons, you can't actually have it at the lowest. And so because of that, we need to actually physically lower the bridge, which, as I said, is not that big an issue. When I actually did do the setup, what you're going to do is we're going to take off all these, and I will do it maybe in a few months when I can be bothered to actually getting around to it. I'll film how I did it, so if anyone's interested, they can see that video too. But we need to take this off, take that little part off underneath it that you can kind of see there. I'll little arrow or whatever to it. And then there's just 2 screws that hold that in, take that out. Then we're going to sand it down maybe 2-3 millimeters, put this thing back on, and it'll just be low enough that I can actually adjust the bridge accordingly and get a really good sound. It's very, very annoying that I have to do that. Again, it is only $250 guitar, but it's very, very annoying that needs to be done. And I thought, after I'd adjusted it, it was nice. It was much better. It was playable, but I don't want to be constantly fighting myself. Because this is my only 7-string, I just, whenever I use it, I will be constantly fighting myself, and that's really annoying. This is something that I said immediately, but as you can see, the input jack is just at a weird angle. Maybe you can't see it. In person, you can see it. Well, as I said, it's smaller, but worth noting. It just shows a level of cheapness in the design and the make and the care for the make and stuff. It's not an issue at all, by the way. It doesn't affect, there's no buzzing or anything from the input jack and nothing like that. It's just attention to detail that is lacking, that is evident in the guitar. By the same metric, these volume knobs have a bit of a squeak. I'll try and... Now, it is not something that you can hear when plugged in. I have tried this extensively. It will not come through the pickups at all. Just worth saying. All right, I'm going to play through a few riffs just so you can hear it, comparison with some other guitars and stuff. But really, the sound is going to come from the pickups. And like I said, you really need to replace the pickups. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Maybe pick one up. Honestly, for $250, I think it's worth it. I think it's great. But if you already have a 7-string or you're not, whatever, maybe it's not the best call. But like, subscribe, comment what you want to see next. Have a good day. Ciao, ciao.